Hello. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? It's a pleasure to be here. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day for a lot of people. How is everyone? It's great to see all of you. I already see that there were a lot of people waiting, so thank you for that. And I would just like to mention we have officially passed 150,000 subscribers. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone who has subscribed and shared our videos, liked everything. It really, really, really makes us happy to know that all of you are, happy as well, and that you're enjoying our lives, our videos, our streams, and that makes sure that we can keep making them for you. So, congratulations to everybody for whatever it is that we're celebrating. Today, we're going to be looking at the continuous tense, past, present, and future. Okay, we're going to start in a moment, but first, let's say hi. Where are you guys joining from? There is people I see from all over the world. So, tell me about yourself, guys. How have you been? I see Kalipan. Thank you, Kalipan. Yes, I do remember you. It's great to see that you're back and watching the videos. I see Jahid from Bangladesh. I see Adele from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I see uh, L from Pakistan. That's great. It's great to see all of you guys. Mika from Brazil. Sharon from China. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. And Luan, also from Brazil. It's great to see all of you guys. We have a lot of people, a lot of students from all over the world. People from Lithuania, Seshihan, from Turkey, Jude, also from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Stacy from South Korea. Excellent. I have some students from South Korea. I love them. From Nepal, also from Nepal, Ankit. Khalipan, thank you so much. Riz Ansari from Pakistan, from Hungary. Wow, you guys are really, really active. It's great to see. I can't even read all of them fast enough. Okay, Koshkun from Turkey, Balal from Bangladesh. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Yassi from Pakistan. Excellent. From Indonesia, we have Anap. Haru from Japan. That's fantastic. It's really, really, really great to see you guys. Sandra Ortega from Mexico. Great. That's where I'm living now, actually. So, Nalim from Sri Lanka. Isam from Morocco. That's great. Wow. So, we have a very big audience today. Is it because of the topic? Do you guys think that the continuous tense is a little hard, is a little difficult? Because that's what we're seeing today, the continuous tense. Now, remember, guys, if any of you don't see the full video, if you have to go a little early, which hopefully you won't have to, but if you have to go, if you don't understand something, if you have any desire to rewatch the video, if you want to review it, it's okay because these videos are saved on our YouTube profile, which you can subscribe to, and we can get to maybe 200,000 subscribers hopefully very soon. So go to the channel, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, share it with your friends because that way we get more views. We know that we're getting a lot more followers, and we know that, of course, you guys are enjoying the content. So don't worry, save it, share it, and it's going to be available. All right. I see Jeffrey from the Philippines, Rees from Indonesia, uh, Baktullah from Pakistan, Ines from Brazil, Stefania from Italy. Great, go Italy. Okay, very, 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 very good. Excellent. So, so great. Guys, let's begin. The present tense, the continuous tense. What is the continuous tense? Do any of you guys know what it is? Do you know what we use it for? It's kind of the thing. It's a tense that can be a little confusing, and some people use it most of the time correctly, but they can make some mistakes. All right. So what do we use the present tense, present continuous tense for? Mhm. I'll wait for you guys to answer while I stick this up here. There are actually not only there isn't only one use for the present tense, all right? There is actually a few. And that's where it gets confusing. So, somebody says, Stacy says be plus verb plus ing. That's correct. That's the formula. But what do we use it for? Kalipan says how an action is, was, or will be in progress at a certain time in continuous tense. Exactly. Radha says things that are happening right now. Yassine says cool hair. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So basically, things that are happening now. Julie says for activity in progress, right? Excellent. Good. That is true. But it can also be used for other things. All right. And that's the confusing part. So I'm going to paste this right here, right under the title. And we have a process now. And then we're going to explain all of this in a moment. Before anything, yes, it's true. The present continuous, or the past or the future continuous, is used to describe a process, not one instant, but something that requires a little bit of time, a process, an action that usually is happening now, right? Asma says something that is happening now. Yes, 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 exactly. So something that is happening now, something that is a process now. And sometimes we can talk about the process in the past, in the present, or in the future. But like I said, we can also use it for other things. All right. We can also use it to describe plans. And sometimes we can use it to describe activities. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll explain. When we're talking about the continuous tense, many people simply call it the ing, right? Swimming, running, eating. Now, that's not really wrong, but the ing is not exactly the same as a continuous tense. The thing is, we can describe some activities with an ing, and they are nouns. Okay? So, for example, when I say the phrase, I like swimming, I'm not talking about the continuous form. When I say I like swimming, I like eating, I like jumping, I'm using the noun form of that activity. Now, I know that's confusing, and that's one of the most difficult things that students, get tricked by. That when we're talking about these activities, we use the ing to refer to them as a noun. We speak of them in a noun form. Okay? Now, if we're speaking about them in a noun form, that just means that it's not the continuous. Okay? So, Mr. Oshok says, I also like swimming, but I don't know how to swim. Me too. Exactly like that. All right? So I hope that's clear. That just means that we can say many, many types of verbs in the noun form by adding ing, but that is not the continuous form, the continuous tense, right? If you have any questions regarding that, please tell me. So, Julie says, I like swimming is not present continuous. No, it's actually the simple present because your verb is like. It's not swimming. Your verb is like. I like. So you're saying, I like now, simple present. I like swimming. But if you say I'm swimming or I am swimming, that is the continuous tense. Thank you, Julie, for that great example. We're going to explain more of that in a moment. But I wanted to clarify that because of this, not everything that has an ing is the continuous tense. And some people, some teachers, some students kind of always say, oh, it's just the ing, right? So it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly that, right? So Reese says, I like reading. Another great example. I like the activity, right? So that is correct. That is the noun form. All right. Very, 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 very good. So if that's clear, why don't you guys give me an example? Remember, that form is usually in the simple past, simple present, or something like that. Napa says, I like writing stories. Exactly. Writing is the activity, right? It's not the present continuous, and you're not saying, I am writing a story now. You're not talking about the process. No, you're talking about simple present. I like writing. Luan says, I like reading. Perfect. So, yes, that's exactly it. And remember, of course, you can use other verbs that aren't like. You can say, I want to eat, for example. That's a simple present. Or you could say, using the noun form, I love swimming. You can say, I hate running. My case, I hate running. Okay. Karthik says, I like dancing. Uwu says, I watch people swimming. Good. Very, 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 very good. Very, very, very good. So, Lawyer Frederick Kayabu says, it is confusing lesson. I find it engaging. Well, thank you. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to comment those, and we're going to try to answer them. All right? We're going to try to answer everything we can. And if it's too difficult, remember that you can rewatch it on our YouTube channel. So, now we're going to get to the interesting part. What is the continuous tense? Right? Napa says, I abhor lying. Very good. Very, 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 very good. Excellent. So, can any of you guys tell me this? What is that? For anybody that hasn't seen it before, this may seem like a complete mystery, something super confusing, and we don't know what it is. But I'm sure that many of my students remember what this is. To every one of my students, this is the first thing I explain because it's one of the most important things in the English grammar, right? And it's the base of almost all sentences, all right? Very good. Very, very good. I see a lot of you already know what it is. So Frederick says subject, verb, object. Kalipan says subject, verb, object. Great, great, great. MMD says subject, verb, object. Napa says subject, verb, something. Yes, object. Excellent, you guys. Karini, you remembered your class perfectly. Subject, verb, object. Now, what is this? Well, this is the basic formula for making a sentence in English. This is like the most simple structure that you can have, or one of the most simple structures you can have, and it's kind of necessary to know so you can make sentences. So, can anybody give me an example of subject, verb, object? What do we mean by that? What is a subject? What is a verb? What is an object? You don't have to explain what it is, just give us an example, right? All of you guys seem to understand pretty well. Haroon, Tessian, Ashok, Jennifer, great, great. Stacy, great, perfect, perfect. It's great. Ryuke says, I like cats. Perfect example, right? Subject in this sentence would be I. So I like is the verb, and cats is our object. Haru says, I like singing. As you can see, singing is a noun, and like is our verb. That's clear? All right, perfect. Very, 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 very good. So the woman, subject, built, verb, a strong stone wall, object. Excellent, excellent, Kalipan. So Hafez says, I love this channel. Great, great to hear. Napa says she wants ice cream. All right, so she wants, she wants ice cream. All right, ice cream is our object, wants is our verb, and she is our subject, right? Very, 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 very good. Sandra Ortega says, I enjoy dancing. Excellent example as well. I, subject, enjoy, verb, dancing, object. Again, a good example of how dancing is an activity, not the present continuous tense. Okay? Now, Kalipan says, the professor, subject, through, verb, an orange. Great. Well, yeah, that's perfect. Very, 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 very good. So, excellent. Noah says he kicks the ball. Perfect. Subram Maniyam says, I like ice cream. Excellent. So you guys understand subject, verb, object. The subject is the person or the entity doing the action. The verb is obviously the action. And the object, sometimes people call it a complement or another noun, something that's also in the sentence, usually being affected by the verb. Okay? It's as simple as that. Now, why is this important to know for studying the continuous tense? Well, it's important because of the formula of the continuous tense. All right. And here we have something that's an auxiliary verb. We're not going to get too technical. We're not going to explain everything that an auxiliary verb can be. We just need you guys to know that an auxiliary verb is, let's say, a complement to the sentence. Okay. It indicates a tense, it indicates a meaning, it can indicate a negative or a question. That's what we use auxiliary verbs for. They're like a tag or a help to identify the sentence. All right. They give an indication of what the general sentence means. Okay. Now, before we get into the continuous, you already know probably how to use some auxiliary verbs. For example, when we're talking about the simple present, we can say a sentence in the negative form, right? All of the sentences that you guys said were very, very good. For example, Mr. K said, I enjoy dancing. Subramaniam said, I like ice cream. And Noah said he kicks the ball. How would we say that in the negative? Now, if you guys remember how to say that in the negative, you're using an auxiliary verb, right? We could say, I don't enjoy dancing. He doesn't kick the ball. I don't like ice cream. And in this case, don't is our auxiliary verb. It indicates that the sentence is negative. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. It's just a little tiny word in our sentence that indicates what it is. Okay? Sandra says, I don't enjoy dancing. Asma says, I don't like dancing. Very, 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 very good. So, in some sentences, our auxiliary verb is don't. For example, for the negative, right? Except with the verb to be. But that's another lesson. So, yes, perfect, you guys. So, you understand. Asma says she doesn't read a book. I don't enjoy dancing, says Jennifer. Very good. So, in the simple present, in the negative, our auxiliary is don't, except for the verb to be. That's it. Very, 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 very good. So you guys kind of have the idea of how to use an auxiliary verb, even if it's intuitive. That's exactly what we need for the continuous form. Kalipan very helpfully says, auxiliary verbs help express a question, show a tense or aspect, or form passive voice. Very good. Sosa says, I don't like cycling. Noah says, I don't like chess. Very good. Excellent examples of the simple present in the negative. All right. I don't. That's the subject, I, and don't, the auxiliary. Like, our verb, of course. And then it could be cycling, chess, swimming, whatever you want. That's how we use an auxiliary verb in the simple present in the negative. So, how do we use it in the continuous tense? Well, it's a very simple formula. And the formula is actually very similar to other tenses that are also a little complex. This is our magic formula for making the continuous tense. And it's as simple as that. Very, 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 very good. Someone whose name I can unfortunately not read says, I don't like to watch TV. Very good. Okay. So it's exactly this formula. I don't like blah, blah, blah. But this formula is actually the correct formula for the continuous tense. Okay. So for the continuous tense, we have our subject, our auxiliary, our verb, and our object. Our verb, of course, has to end in ing, right? And our auxiliary is what? Some of you guys kind of know the present or past or future continuous. So tell me, guys, for the continuous tense, what auxiliary verb do we use? Some of you guys I saw already said it, so I'm sure that you know what it is. So help us out, help the other students out. Tell us, what is the auxiliary of the continuous tense? Sandra Ortega says to be. Yes, it is the verb to be. So for the continuous tense, we have subject, the verb to be, the verb in the ing form, and object if we want it. All right. So just to make that clear, I'm going to write that down again here. Subject plus auxiliary plus verb ending in ing. And then we can have maybe object or whatever we need. It's that simple. And it works the same with the past, the present, and the future, fortunately. Okay? So the only thing that we have to remember is what? If we have an auxiliary, does it change in the past or in the present or in the future? I think some of you guys can understand, but what do you think? Muhammad says, is MR very good? Asma, Napa said the verb to be. Excellent. So yes, guys, it's the verb to be for the continuous form. So very, 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 very good. Now, remember, ing form and the verb to be. Verb to be, ing form. In that order. Verb to be, ing form. Okay? And that's it. So, yes, Asma says yes. Napa says yes. Excellent. So you guys know that in the past, the auxiliary verb changes. Why? Well, what happens is that our auxiliary verb also indicates when we're talking. That's it. It's not something else. It's not, you don't have to change anything else. It's only that the auxiliary verb helps us and indicates when we're talking. Subramaniam says yes. Sosa says yes. Vishal says yes. Andrew, very, 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 very good. Excellent. Marton says specifically was and were. Right. Very, 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 very good. So when we're talking about the past, our auxiliary verb indicates that we're talking about the past by being in the past. So if we have the phrase, let's do some practice. All right, guys, I'm going to give you some sentences. I'm going to give you some sentences that are very, very simple. And I want you guys to help me convert them into the continuous tense. First, we'll do present. Then we'll do past. And we can do the future. So, what phrase can you guys think about that we can convert to the continuous form? I'm thinking of the phrase, I am swimming. That is a good example of the present continuous. And it comes from the phrase, I swim, for example. I swim is in the simple present, and I am swimming would be in the continuous form. So let me give you a sentence in the simple present. And then you guys are going to change it into the continuous form. For example, I eat cake. How would we make that phrase, I eat cake, into the continuous tense? In the continuous present for now. I'll wait for you guys. I see already some people are trying. I am eating cake. Shraddha, Stacy, Noah, Luan, Sandra, Napa. Excellent. Haru, Radha. More people than I can count. You all got it right. I am eating cake. Perfect. Jeffrey, Nabio, Asma, one of my friends from Russia, one of my friends from China, all of you guys Got it right. I am eating cake. Perfect. Perfect. I didn't want to have a long list stuck up here because it would be distracting. But yes, all of you guys got it super right. I am eating cake. Mhm. Now, let's do another sentence because all of you guys got it right. In the simple present, I'm going to say a phrase and you guys have to convert it to the continuous present. Okay? Then we'll do something else. But for now, I'm going to say a phrase in the simple present and you have to say it in the continuous present. Okay? So, I walk with my dog, who's right here looking at me while I give class. So, I walk with my dog. How can we convert that to the present continuous tense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Sandra right away says, I'm walking with my dog. Perfect. Perfect. So, Kalipan says, I'm walking with my dog. Lawyer Frederick says, I'm walking with my dog. KK, Jeffrey, Shraddha, Stacy, Radha, Napa, Luan. All of you got it right, you guys. Luan, Asma, Haru. Very, very good. I'm walking with my dog. It's exactly that. So you guys have it completely clear and you understand how to make a sentence in the present continuous form. All right. So that's great. Now, guys, remember, if you are kind of lost, if you didn't understand, or if you want to share this video with your friend that has trouble with the present continuous or the past continuous, remember, you can subscribe to our channel, share the video with your friends, like it, share it all over the internet and social media. You can subscribe to the channel on YouTube or follow our page on Instagram, and you can rewatch the lessons that we're giving now to make sure that you really, really, really understand it, and it's very, very, very clear. You can watch it every day if you want until it's absolutely clear. So Nabio Jennifer Tien says, I'm walking with my dog. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Very, 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 very good. So all of you guys, you got it completely right. Okay. Now we're going to make it just a slightly bit more difficult. How would we say in the past continuous a phrase? Mm-hmm. What if I say the phrase, I eat pizza? We all love pizza, right? So how would the phrase, I eat pizza, be in the past continuous? Mm-hmm. How would it be in the past continuous? The phrase, I eat pizza. Mm-hmm. In the past, it would be, I was eating pizza. Very good. Very, very, very good, you guys. Frederick, Haru. Haru says, I ate pizza, but that's not exactly correct, Haru. Remember, it would be the auxiliary, which we would have to say in the past, plus the verb in the ing form. But Marton, Shraddha, very good. Kalipan, Radha. Okay, so I see that there was some confusion here. So good, good. Excellent. Now I see the difference. You see, I was eating pizza. Remember, the only thing that changes is our auxiliary verb because our auxiliary verb is the one that indicates the time. So I know that some of you got confused. It's normal. Don't worry about it. But this is why. You don't have to change anything else. In the continuous form, the verb is still in the ing, all right? And we use was. I was eating pizza. Mm-hmm. It's the same structure, the same format. The only thing that the only thing that changes is that our auxiliary, instead of being in the present, goes into the past. All right. For example, Simon, Khulud, Noah, Miriam. Excellent. You guys got it right. Excellent. Excellent. And some of you guys also gave examples of other phrases in the past continuous. For example, Sosa said, I was eating apples. Very, very, very good. I saw another one around here. Okay. Simon says, I was eating pizza after dinner, more or less the same. Right? Very, 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 very good. Very, 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 very good. So, excellent. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now, Mr. Oshak, I know that I see that you wrote your own little formula: subject, had, have, plus ing plus object. But remember, it's not had; it's the verb to be. It's just that. So the formula, if we want to be more specific, is just that: subject, verb to be, verb in the ing, and then the object. Remember that the auxiliary verb, in this case the verb to be, is in the past, present, or future, depending on when we're talking about. Okay? That's it. That's all we have to consider. All right, so good. Guys, I think you're really, 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 really understanding it. For example, Stacy gave us another example. He was cleaning his room. Napa says, I was dancing with my friends. Perfect. Perfect. They are studying science. That would be the present continuous. Very, very, very good. But excellent, excellent. So now I think you guys can understand present and the past. Mr. Oshak says, I am eating cake. And he also said, I was eating cake. Perfect. So one of them is the present and one of them is the past. Excellent, excellent. Kulud says, I was thinking about going to school. Excellent. Excellent. Kalipan says, I was studying English. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, the shoulder. When can we use past continuous? Remember, you guys, whenever you want to talk about a process, something that is not immediate, something that takes time, right? For example, we can say, I was doing exercise at the gym, right? Doing exercise at the gym should take us more than a few minutes. It's usually a good half an hour, 1 hour. Some people spend 2 or 3 hours at the gym. So something that is a process, something that requires time, whether it's in the past, present, or future, then you can use the continuous tense. Okay. So Adishola, I hope that answered your question. Jennifer says, I was preparing for exams. Very, very, very good. Very, 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 very good. So that's excellent. I am walking with my dog. She was singing a ballad song, says Stacy. Excellent. Excellent. So all of those examples are very, very good, very, very clear. And I think you guys have understood it perfectly well. Okay. Now, maybe you guys noticed that I didn't really talk about this little guy. Okay. We can use the continuous tense to talk about plans, but what does that mean? Well, I know it's very confusing. I know it's really probably illogical, but in English, we can use the present continuous tense to talk about a plan that we have in the future, right? So I know that doesn't sound at all logical, but that's how we do it, unfortunately. So, for example, you could say, next weekend, or no, we would say something like, I am swimming next weekend. And that is a way of describing a plan you have. I am swimming next weekend, or next weekend, I'm swimming. Right? Now, I know this is confusing because we're using the present continuous to talk about the future. So that is really not intuitive, but we use that specifically to talk about plans, okay? So don't think that we're talking about the future continuous. That's different. No, we're using the present continuous to talk about a plan in the future, right? Can you guys think of an example for this? So I know that probably you guys have used it at some point, right? You have said something in the present continuous with time, with a description of time in the future to explain a plan. For example, Radha says, I'm planning to visit my parents next week. Okay, that could be. Hafez, MMD. So I'm going to visit my grandparents tomorrow. Okay. I'm starting to notice a little bit of not confusion, but it is different to say I'm going to for a plan to say the present continuous. I'm going is a way of saying I am going now. I am planning now. I'm starting the action now, but it's not exactly the same as using present continuous and other verbs, right? So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm going to visit my grandparents is correct, right? It's one example of present continuous to describe a plan. But remember, guys, it's not the only way. And many people think it's the only way, but it's not. So I'm going to see my grandparents is present continuous to describe a plan. But you can also say, I'm visiting my grandparents next week, or I'm seeing my grandparents next week. And that is just another verb instead of using go. I'm not saying it's incorrect. Remember, it's perfectly correct. I just want to remind you guys that it's not the only way to say it. And many people get kind of confused because they think it is the only way to say it, but it's not. Okay? So I'm studying English next week, says Orlando. Perfect. Shada says, I do study after some days. Not really, Shada, because remember, we have to use this formula with the verb to be and the ing. Okay? So Mr. K says, I am visiting a friend next week. Excellent. Okay? Luan says, I'm studying with them tonight. Perfect. Stacy says, I'm leaving for New York in the tomorrow morning. Perfect. Very, 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 very good. Tetchan says, I will swimming next week. Not really, because remember, we have to use the present continuous, not the future continuous. The present continuous describes plans. Okay. So very, 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 very good. Excellent. Very, 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 very good. I'll be eating cake tomorrow. That's the future continuous, a little different. Lawyer Frederick says, I'm traveling to Japan from this month. Very good. Okay. I'm watching movie next weekend, says Haru. Very good. Pasindu says, I'm having a vacation next week. Exactly. So there you have it, guys. Present continuous plus a description of time, whether it's month, day, year, hour, that describes a plan, but it has, or it should be, present continuous, right? It is different. Lucky says, I am playing cricket tomorrow. Very good. Jode says, I'm going to eat pizza tomorrow. Good. One of those examples with going. It's not wrong, but remember, it's not the only way. It's very good. It's just an alternative. Tizian says, she is cooking pasta for dinner. Present continuous. Not exactly a plan, but very, very good. For example, Tizian, you could say she is cooking pasta for dinner tomorrow, right? That is her intention. That is her plan. Very, 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 very good. Stacy says, I'm attending a history class this Saturday. Excellent. All right. So now you guys understand that the present continuous can also be used for plans. And remember, guys, if this is confusing, if this was not so easy to understand, you can rewatch this video, share it with your friends, like, subscribe, everything. Do the whole thing. Okay. For example, Jeffrey says, I'm going out tonight. Perfect. Helene says, I'm watching your lecture. Perfect example of present continuous, right? So now one of the last things nearing the end of the lesson is the future continuous. So you guys can give me an example of the future continuous. You already understand the past and the present. The future continuous uses the same rules. We have the subject plus the verb to be in the future plus the verb ending in ing and then the object. Okay? So any sentence that you guys want, I'm going to give you free reign this time. I will be speaking as good as a native speaker, says MMD. Perfect. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's an excellent example. Frederick Kayabu says, I will be traveling to Japan from this month onward. Perfect, perfect. Napa says, I'll be visiting my friend next Sunday. Perfect. Excellent, excellent. Remember, guys, that I'm going is not the future. So Napa, Frederick, and MMD were correct, right? And Kalipan says, I will be at Cambly, in Cambly private classes with you soon. Very, very, very good. Adishola asks, going to, gonna, I think. What is the specific moment to use each one of them? Good question. Good question, Adishola. So the thing is that gonna is something that we call a phonetic abbreviation, something that many native people pronounce because it's kind of easier than marking clearly all of the letters of the word. Instead of saying going to, people sort of mix it together and it ends up sounding like going to, gonna, right? So technically in conversation in society, it's a synonym. Let's say it's just a different way of pronouncing going to, but of course it's an informal, improper way. So you would never use it in a document or in a very formal setting, especially in writing. You would never use it. Um, in a social situation, you can use it just fine, but it means the same thing. All right, gonna and going to. All right, very very good. Shada says, I will be attending a party tomorrow. Perfect. Mr. Oshak says, I will be traveling to Nepal tomorrow. Very good. Mr. K says, I will be traveling to London on Sunday. We have a lot of travelers here. So, very good. Excellent. Excellent. Kulud says, I will go to school. Not really. So, remember our formula. I will be going to school. That would be correct for the future continuous, but that's it. All right. Very, very, very good. Stacy says we will be taking the math test then. Perfect. Adele says I'm planning. But remember, I'm planning is the present continuous. I am, not I will be. Okay. Helene says I will. Remember the be, Helene. I will be working in the UK. That is the future continuous. I will be. We always need our auxiliary very, very clear because that is the thing that establishes the time. Okay. Priyangani says, I will be painting my house tomorrow. Perfect. Kalipan says, I will be going to schedule an English class ASAP. Perfect. Very, very, very good. Napa says, I'll be traveling the entire world when I'll be 18. Perfect. Excellent. Helene says, I will be working in the UK later. Good correction. Excellent, Helene. Subramaniam says, I will go to school. That's a simple future, not the future continuous. Be careful with that. And that's very, 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 very good. Very, very, very good. Lucky says, you will be reading my comment. Exactly. Very, very, very good. Nice breaking of the fourth wall. So excellent. Hafez says, we'll be attending new party. Okay. Well, that actually brings us to the next and final aspect of our class, and that is how to ask questions or how to say something in the negative with the present continuous. Now, you guys understand the formula of the continuous form. It's the same for the present, past, and future. Always the same. The formula. Okay. The auxiliary verb, of course, changes, and of course, the verb can change if depending on what verb you're using: swimming, running, eating, blah blah blah. Right? But the formula stays the same, except for questions. Why? Well, usually in a question, our auxiliary goes here in the front. I'm going to move this a little bit so you guys can see. But this is where we put our auxiliary in questions. All right. And that's actually part of the reason why it can be confusing for many people. I know that in many languages, like in Spanish, like in Spanish, the only thing that happens is that you change your tone, right? It's the exact same grammar, but you change your tone to indicate a question. So it's really different. In English, our grammar changes when we're asking a question, and of course, sometimes when we're saying a negative. Okay, so it's the same formula in the sense that it's the same auxiliary. The auxiliary verb doesn't change. It's the same auxiliary verb, and the verb, of course, has to be in the ing. Okay. So if a positive statement, let's say, is I am eating cake, how would we make that a question? How could we say the same sentence in a question form in the continuous form? A continuous present or a continuous past question. This is the formula. So tell me, guys, how would we ask a question in the continuous form? The positive sentence is I am eating cake. How could we make that a question? Marton says, am I eating cake? Stacy says, am I eating cake? And Kalipan says, am I eating cake? Perfect. All of you guys got it right. Also, Lawyer Frederick, Adalton, very good. Haru and Napa said, are you eating cake? But it's the same basic thing. It's the same concept. And of course, the grammar is correct. Rada, very good. Shrada, Hafez. Excellent, excellent. All of you guys got it completely right. Am I eating cake? So the only thing that happens is that the auxiliary verb, instead of being after the subject, goes before the subject. That's pretty much it. It can be, it can be simple if you look at it like this, but of course, not everyone really knows so clearly. So we have to make sure that we explain it. Okay. And for the negative, it's actually really straightforward because the only thing we have to do is make the auxiliary a negative. Okay. But before that, let's do some examples of questions in the present continuous or in the past continuous, or bonus points if you say it in the future continuous. All right. So give me some examples, guys, and we're going to review them. Okay. So Asma, Jennifer, Hafez, very good. Hafez said it in the past continuous. Very good, Hafez. Jode said it in the third person plural. Are they eating cake? Very good, Jude. Kalipan says only the auxiliary changes in front of the sentence, correct? Correct. Yes, Kalipan. That's the way it goes. Okay. So give me some examples, you guys, of some other questions in the present continuous or in the past continuous. And remember, bonus points if you can ask a question in the future continuous. Asma says, am I eating cake? Very good. Are you preparing for the exam? Perfect. Stacy, give us a good example of the present continuous in a question form. Are you preparing for the exam? Shraddha says, was you traveling? Now that's close, but remember, Shraddha, for you, the verb to be should be were. Were you? All right. Whenever we have a different person, the verb to be changes. Okay. So were you traveling? Very good. Tizian says, will they be playing soccer tomorrow? Remember the be, Tizian. Sandra says, were they visiting your friends? Very good. Very, very good. Napa says, are you eating without me? Very good. Very, very good. MMD says, are you eating snacks right now? Was she drinking Coke last night? Very good. Will you attending? Remember the verb to be. So will you be attending the summer party at the weekend? Very, very, very good. Will you be watching a movie? Says Shraddha. Perfect. Will you be living in New York City next year? Says Haru. Mr. Arshak says, are they playing Ludo? Perfect. Very, 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 very good. Ecolab says, am I studying English hard? Very good. Luan says, was she watering the plants? Was she dancing in his room last night? Says Stacy. Very good. Very, 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 very good. Kang says, what are you doing right now? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Very good. Very good. Mr. K says, were they playing tennis? Sandra says, will you be improving your speaking this year? Excellent. So guys, I think you understand it. I think everything there is absolutely clear. Now you guys are ready for the last and final part of this lesson, which is 2 minutes. It's the negative. So you already know how to ask questions, how to say plans, how to say it in the past, present, and future. So why don't you guys tell me what you are not doing right now? And we'll end it there. Remember, guys, that the formula stays basically the same. The only thing that we have to do is make the auxiliary negative, okay? So what are you guys not doing right now? For example, I'm not swimming right now. I'm not eating right now. I'm not having breakfast. So what are you guys not doing? I am not cooking now, says Shraddha. Very, very good. Very, very good. Kalipan says, I'm not eating food right now. Excellent. Tejian says, I'm not cooking now. Kyang says, I'm not sleeping right now. Stacy says, I'm not cooking. Kulut says, I'm not eating. Very, 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 very good. And Martin gave us a very interesting one. I won't be eating cake tomorrow. All right, so that is the future continuous in the negative form. Excellent. Our friend Lawyer Frederick says, I'm not reading a novel. Karini says, I'm not eating lunch. Stacy says, I'm not listening to the radio. Hafez says, I am studying class tomorrow. That's a good plan. Okay. Adeleton says, I'm not having lunch. Very good. Jennifer says, I'm not watching a movie right now. Nabio says, I'm not drinking. Napa says, I'm not wasting my time. Tetian says, he is not talking. Very, very, very good. Very, 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 very good. So, very good, Radha. Thank you. Thank you. So excellent, you guys. I think you have graduated the continuous tense class. You have passed all of your activities, and now you are fully ready to use the present continuous for either of these two processes or plans. And remember that when we're using ing for activities, it's not actually the present continuous, it's just nouns. But you guys are ready. I think you guys understood everything. And before we go, I wanted to give you guys a promo code that I almost forgot, but I didn't because of all of your guys' support. For all of those of you who aren't already a part of Cambly, we have this very, very juicy promo code that is Go Live to motivate you guys to come on over and start studying with us. We're literally more than 10,000 tutors, so there is something for everyone. No matter your style, no matter your level, no matter what you like, you're going to be able to find a tutor that's right for you and that can help you learn the continuous form, the past perfect, whatever it is that you need. You're going to be able to find someone on Cambly to help you. So use that promo code Go Live. I think it can give you a discount of like a maximum of 30%, something like that. So it's a very good promo code. And of course, if you join Cambly, you can take classes with me even. You can take classes with many, many other tutors, of course, that are available, but I'm one of them. So be sure to go and join Cambly if you're not a member now. It would be a big pleasure to have you. And remember, even if you're not going to do that for now, share this video with your friends, with your family, for anyone that is having trouble with the continuous tense and anyone that wants to get really better at using the continuous tense. It could be a friend of yours that's a student, a little brother, a cousin, just for yourself. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Remember to like it, share as many videos as you can, and also join our Instagram where we also post clips and content like this. All right. So guys, it was a huge, huge pleasure to give you this class, a discount of up to 36% off using Go Live as a promo code. If you want to schedule a class with me, you can check the link below and make a reservation. I am available, and it will be a pleasure to see you guys, a pleasure to get to know you guys. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for the attention. Thank you everyone for participating. Jennifer, thank you. Thank you so much. Sadaf, thank you so much. So very, 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 very good. Kalipan, thank you as always for your participation. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Adeshola. Thank you, Karini. Thank you, Frederick. So, oh, and happy Juneteenth, by the way, for anyone that is joining us from the US. Very good. Thank you, Adeshola, for reminding me. Thank you, Lucy. You're wonderful students, all of you. So take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Kalipan. Thank you, Napa. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Adalton. See you guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Go be free. Practice, practice, practice. And we'll see you guys later. All right? So take care. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a nice day, Asma. Have a nice day, Lucy. Thank you, Mr. K. Excellent. So, guys, I'll see you on Cambly. Join if you haven't, and practice as much as you can these structures. All right? Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Bye.